the morning too.
Welcome to the Mizzle An Dub Show, where they know sports. If you want to know about sports, this is where you go. Welcome to the Mizzle An Dub Show, where they know sports. If you want to know about sports, this is where you go.
First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah. 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 Touchdown, yeah. Touchdown, yeah. Touchdown, yeah.
Well. Welcome,
Well,
everybody.
That sucks for my fantasy league.
Uh-oh.
That
We got breaking news. We got breaking news already? What we got?
Yes. Well, like I said, for my fantasy team, this sucks. But for Charger fans, it's the worst case scenario. Mike Williams torn ACL out for the season.
Again.
After he caught a fantastic touchdown pass from Keenan Allen, who can't throw a football, he hurt himself yet again. Another injury on field turf. Here we go again. But in Minnesota's case, I can understand why they don't have grass, because they play in a dome and it blizzards during the winter in Minnesota, so there's no sun to have grass in the dome. So Minnesota I get, New Orleans I get, Detroit I get. But also at the same time, if I am a Vikings fan, I'd be mad, because if you look at the great teams they had in the 70s, when it seems like every other year they were going to the Super Bowl, old Metropolitan Stadium, which was the home of the Vikings and the Twins, was one of the best home field advantages you could possibly have, because, of course, Minnesota, Midwest, winter, it gets cold and it snows. Okay, the LA Rams in the 70s with Roman Gabriel, the fearsome foursome, and all that had some very good, fantastic teams in the 70s and could have gone to the Super Bowl multiple times. The reason why, it was either they ran into Roger Staubach and the Cowboys, or they had to go to cold ass Minnesota in January in the winter.
Nobody wants to do
that. They
that.
only got to one Super Bowl appearance in the 70s. So I get why they build these domes, because they want to have concerts and events, more money for the stadium, more revenue for the stadium. I understand it and I get it. I do. But I guess you can call me kind of old school, because, you know, Mizzle and myself, we are in our 40s. Even though he's 12 with a license, as he's been saying forever and a day. But to me, and this is just one's opinion, football belongs in the doggone elements. Like I said, one of the greatest footages I ever saw. The 2 years that the Vikings played at the University of Minnesota, their playoff game, and you saw the late, great Hall of Famer Bud Grant, freezing below temperatures, walk out onto the field wearing just a polo shirt.
Yep.
No jacket. No, nothing.
Yeah.
And if you watch NFL films, one of the greatest cinematographic moments was the snow coming down, and you see Bud Grant's cowl or stare onto the field. This is one of the best footages NFL films has ever done, and kudos to the late, great Ed and Steve Sable for doing that. However, it's unfortunate for the Chargers, but again, the momentum for players wanting to have natural grass fields keeps going up, down with another injury on field turf. Now, I get it. They've made advances, technology, but I am a fan of the game, and obviously I cover the game now working for the ASFL. So I'm just telling you, I mean, yes, it could have happened. Injuries can happen. Doesn't matter if it's on artificial turf or grass. But I guarantee you, if the injury that happened to Nick Chubb happened on turf, it would have been more catastrophic as it was to it happening just on grass. But prayers out to Mike Williams. Hope for a speedy recovery. When he's on the field, he is a fantastic talent at wide receiver, and it just sucks that he won't be able to play the rest of the season. So, but it's the chance for Johnston, the rookie from TCU, to help contribute. To help contribute, even though I would like to say, Keenan Allen, thank you for 45 big points yesterday. He shows you why when he's available, he's still one of the best receivers in football, and he's up there as far as being one of the best route runners. But then again, shoot.
Has Mike Williams and Keenan Allen played a full season together since they've been paired?
I'm probably going to say no, because it always seems like, when one is hurt, one is playing, and vice versa. It seems like you never can get them together for a full season. And if you could, that would be curtains for a lot of secondaries in the AFC West and whomever they were playing on their schedule.
Yeah, my Raiders.
Lord my Raiders. I would both could play much. Yeah, but there will be no Mike Williams. But welcome to 107 of the Mizzle An Dub Show. We are coming to you live, and it's actually an early morning edition as opposed to the late night editions that you normally get. But, you know, that's why he has his cup of coffee, and I just have a big-ass, hillbilly tea cup of some good old-fashioned vitamin C. Get your vitamin C, kids. It's important for your immune system. Listen to your uncles on this, all right?
Winter's coming.
But anyhow, before we continue, shout out to our pops who just celebrated another birthday. So we already said our wishes to him on his actual day, but just want to say it again. Happy birthday, pops! Another trip around the sun. God bless you. We love you.
Indeed.
Eventually, want to get him for his 5 good minutes on the show so he can say what he can say. He can get out because that's just what he does. Yeah. So here we are on the 25th of September. It is officially autumn season. So enjoy your autumn as the leaves turn to. Time to put out the hoodies and the sweats.
Mm-hmm.
And occasionally rock the jeans every now and again if you're going on a hot date. But let's go back to Thursday evening where my team had their home opener, and it's scary that they could play a C plus B minus game, still put up 30, and still come out with a win. I would hate to see what happens if they put their A plus game together, but at the end of the day, the Niners get the win. They beat the Giants 30-12. Wink Martindale, the Giants DC, did everything he possibly could to throw blitz after blitz after blitz on Brock Purdy, but Brock again was just steady. Took care of the ball, even though he did have some close calls. The Giants was competitive. They got within 5, 17-12. They went for 2. They did not convert, and then Deebo Samuel just took over and said, Brock, throw me the damn ball, to the tone of 6 catches for $129 and a touchdown. He definitely did give you points. McCaffrey, 18 carries, 85 yards. Brock Purdy had his, I think that was his first 300-yard game of his career in his limited starts that he's had. So, I don't think he threw for 300 before.
I guess since you got Christian McCaffrey, you ain't got to throw for 300 yards. Just hand the ball off and take care of the ball, as you said. He doesn't have to throw 300 yards.
Well, no, he threw the ball 37 times, which might be a career high. But I mean, again, when you had a balanced attack like he did with Elijah Mitchell and McCaffrey, there's no need to throw the ball 37 times. And plus, I mean, you and I have seen the Shanahan offense for a long time. Necessarily throwing the ball 30-plus times is not really a part of the scheme if the run game is working. So, I mean, if the run game is working, you don't need to throw the ball perhaps no more than 25 to 27 times a game. And normally you come out on top, especially if the zone run scheme, which when it is when it is on, it's hard to stop.
Well, you would have won a Super Bowl if you
the
just kept
Giants
running the ball.
showed some fight. Well, we don't need to go back to Super Bowl 51 or Super Bowl 54 and the 2021 NFC title game against the Rams where they were up 10 and decided not to give one of their best players the football for the last 12 minutes. But, I've been passionate on those subjects God knows how many times. But at the end of the day, the Niners get to 3-0. Huge win for them. And I will say it right now, as we will preview week 4 later on in the show. But this upcoming Sunday for the Niners, and I said this on my post, this is a trap game, and I really hope they were paying attention to what happened at the Big Toaster in Glendale, Arizona on yesterday. I'll explain more as the show goes along. But before we continue, they went to a place they haven't won in 7 years. They went to Howard's Rock. They went to Death Valley. It was back and forth. But I think the forced fumble, scoop, and touchdown changed the trajectory of the game. And this is all I got to say. Keon Coleman is a grown man. That's all I can say. Keon Coleman is a grown man as the Florida State Seminoles go into a place where it's been a house of horrors, and they hadn't won there in a long, long time. But they exercise the Clemson Tigers and get the win in overtime by a final score of 31-24. You were nervous for a lot of that game, but at the end, like I said, the forced fumble that turned into a scoop and score by Deloach really changed the game around for the Seminoles, and Clemson had a chance. They had a chip shot chance to win the game. The kick missed, and then Travis said, "Screw it, Keon, I'm coming to you. I'm going to throw it up, and you do what you do." And Keon Coleman does what he does. And I mean, Travis struggled, but he still threw for 29, 2 touchdowns. The running game was really not a factor, but Johnny Wilson, the other receiver, had 5 for 94. Keon Coleman had 5 for 86, plus the 2 touchdowns. Jordan Travis was minus 2 yards, but he found the end zone one time. But Florida State remains at number 4. They are 4-0.
5.
They get the job done. Oh, 5-0, I'm sorry.
No, they're ranked 5 now.
They're up to number 5 on the polls. Okay. So
well, they were
win and you take a step back.
That's 2 weeks in a row they took a step back.
Yeah.
They were number 3. They were ranked 3, so they dropped 2 spots already. But what I like about how this game ended is both number 4s contributed to winning the game. On defense, Deloach wears 4, and on offense, Coleman wears 4. Both 4s got us above to get the W. But it's good to see that they're playing complementary football. One side of the ball was doing very well, and the defense kept them in the game just well enough for Jordan Travis to make that threat throw to Keon Coleman to win the game. So it was ugly, but it was complementary football in a bad way per se. But they continue to play like that. Just imagine if they get it together, play a full display of complementary football in a good way. I'll be shocked to see them not in the championship competition, but we still got to play Louisville. And Louisville always plays us tough no matter where we're at. So we got over the hump of Clemson, but now we got to get through Georgia Tech. We got to get through Louisville, all those teams that gives us fits. So it ain't over yet, but they're looking good.
Not to mention North Carolina, and now you got Duke now in the top 20 at 17. So this year the ACC has been a lot more competitive than it has been in years past. So I mean, but it's good to see because it is a Power 5 conference. So I mean, you could see some playoff implications concerning the ACC as the season goes along. So you are absolutely right. My Bulldogs paid a team to come play. and they took care of business. So I'm
Since y'all been
finally
doing this since
happy
week
that
one?
that crap is over, and now they can finally, pretty much, which I can't stand it. I really can't. But now it's into the heart of the schedule. And Saturday in South Bend, Indiana, was the epitome of what college football is all about. A fantastic game between Notre Dame and Ohio State, which unfortunately I was with a lot of Notre Dame fans, and obviously they were disappointed. But it was a fantastic game. Ohio State gets the win 17-14, and because of that, Ohio State jumps Florida State, and now they're fourth as the reason why Florida State is ranked number 5. So here we go with the AP polls going into week 5. Okay, so my Bulldogs are still number 1. Michigan is still number 2. Bevo, Texas coming in at number 3. Ohio State 4. Florida State 5. Penn State 6. Washington, who thrashed Cal, and Michael Penix making his case to be the Heisman Trophy winner. People are forgetting about Michael Penix. He transferred from Indiana to Washington, and all he has done is balled out since coming to the Pacific Northwest. I'm just saying, everybody's talking about Caleb Williams, and rightfully so. But Michael Penix from Washington, keep your eye on that lefty. He is good. USC at 8. Well, actually, you know what? The next 4 polls are all taken by Pac-12 teams, soon to be the Pac-2. So, 7 is Washington, 8 is USC, 9 is Oregon, 10 is Utah. Keeping up with Notre Dame at 11, Alabama at 12, LSU at 13, Boomer Sooner at 14, North Carolina, another ACC team at 15th, Washington State, the 4th Pac-12 team in the rankings. And coming off a big win, upsetting Oregon State in Pullman. They're at 16. Duke, another ACC team, is 17. Your bitter rivals from Miami, they're at number 18. Oregon State still in the rankings at number 19, despite the fact they took the loss. They dropped 5 spots. Same with Ole Miss. They're number 20. Tennessee at 21. Florida 22. Missouri 23. Kansas at 4-0. And rearing out the top 25, the other Bulldogs team I root for, Fresno State, in the top 25 at number 25.
Really?
Good for them.
Let's go.
So
let's go.
Yes, Fresno State at 4-0. So you got a lot of love for the Pacific time zone in this top 25 poll. Let's see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams from the West Coast in the top 25. That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive. But all it takes is one loss, and they'll be out of there.
Oh yeah.
They got
going down the scores. One of the best games I saw this past weekend was Utah and UCLA. That was a struggle, and that was a battle to the end. But Utah gets the win by a final score of 14-7. But that was a fantastic game from start to finish. Arkansas and LSU went back and forth, but at the end, LSU got the win by 3 over the Hog Heaven, 34-31. We already talked about it. Washington State and Oregon State back and forth, but it was the Cougars getting the win, 38-35. Of course, we already talked about Notre Dame and Florida and Notre Dame and Ohio State in that close game by the final score. But you said it, and I was like, you're not wrong, but people starting to jump off the bandwagon. I'm just like, chill. They were not going to run the table. Okay.
I damn sure wasn't going to go to you.
Which was they had 3 wins that already surpassed their win total from a season ago because they only won 1 game. So they added 2 more to that. So you've already exceeded expectations.
Yes.
But as Mizzle just said, going into Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon is not exactly one of the best places to play because even though capacity-wise it's not a big stadium, the noise that goes on that stadium can make it sound
Nonstop.
like it's almost 100,000. Yeah, it's like you're
And they
in
don't
Ann Arbor in the Big House or in the Horseshoe or in Knoxville, Tennessee, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And some more breaking news: Garoppolo is being evaluated for a concussion. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, really?
We always do like to give a live. That is the update coming from Fox Sports. Live on the show, we always try to give live updates as we get them. So that's the status right now, as opposed to what's going on with James Richard Garoppolo. But you said that this would be where that this is where you would say the old Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. No?
Oh, yeah.
To
They
the
needed this, though.
atonement of 42-6. No, absolutely. They needed to get a loss.
They needed to humble
the
themselves.
system.
Yeah. They were too cocky. You know what I'm saying?
But
you
were. Here's the thing.
Okay.
And give Dennis credit. Dion said all the right things in the press conference after the loss.
Yeah.
Because that's just who Dion is.
Yeah.
Dion. Well, I'll say this: this version of Dion, not the old version, but this version of Dion, he's gonna tell the truth. That's just who he is now. Because I mean, when you find the Lord, transition does take place, and you can see that.
Mhm.
So, the Buffaloes are going to be fine, and don't be surprised if they come out. Don't be surprised if they come out full force this upcoming week and they thrash USC. Because USC struggled putting away. No, let me finish. Let me finish. USC struggled putting Arizona State away. They eventually put them away, but they struggled. Putting away Arizona State. So I'm just saying, can they upset them at home? Yes, they can. But Caleb Williams is a different animal. Understandably so. I'll just say they will come out. They will come out with more fire and more attention to detail playing the Trojans this upcoming Sunday. But on USC side, the game starts at 9 a.m. So USC's clock might be off a little bit because
I didn't know that. I didn't know. Okay.
Because we're talking. Okay. Yeah. So that's 9. That's 9 Pacific, 10 a.m. Mountain time. So that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If Colorado can get them early, that might. Yeah. The old time shooter. But I mean, Oregon's gonna be Oregon. Oregon's to 4-0.
I'll back off my statement on that one, but
Bo Nix was solid 28. Right. Bo Nix was solid. Bo Nix was solid. 28 of 33, 276, 3 touchdowns, one pick. Bucky Irving, the junior from Chicago, 10 carries, 89 yards. But it was the run game, I think, that was the big factor for the Ducks, because I mean, when you have Whittingham, James, and Irving, you really have a three-headed monster at running back. And if all three gets going, that will just give Bo Nix a lot of time in play action to find whoever wants to throw the ball. Troy Franklin is a monster. 8 catches for $126 and 2 TDs. Oregon should take care of business. They'll be on the farm in Palo Alto playing the 1-3 Stanford Cardinals. And then October the 14th is what I'm looking forward to. A huge battle in the Pacific Northwest, Washington, and Oregon in Seattle.
Like the scoreboard
when those two get together. So,
like the scoreboard up.
Yeah. Hopefully you might want to get some fresh LED lights in Seattle, Washington. But some real interesting games going on. We already talked about Penn State. I mean, not Penn State. Talked about Colorado playing USC. Friday is a dandy. So Friday night, we got number 10 Utah going to Corvallis and playing Oregon State. Number 10 versus number 19. You can catch that on Fox Sports 1 at 6 p.m. They're giving Oregon -3 Will Cam Rising be available? Because he's
That's a
still
good
recovering
question.
from the injury. We don't know.
Yes.
Um, Friday's got some real good matchups. Okay, so Friday we got not just that. Friday we also got Louisville at 4-0
Uh-oh.
playing NC State at 3-1. You can catch that on ESPN. We
Ooh.
just talked about Oregon and Utah. I mean Oregon State and Utah. Oregon State and Utah.
Yes.
Louisville Tech playing UTEP. You can catch that on CBS Network. And Friday, as we get a doubleheader on ESPN, 2-2 Cincinnati goes to Provo, Utah to take on BYU at 3-1. So you got 4 games, 2 on ESPN, 1 on Fox Sports 1, and the other on CBS Sports Network. So that's pretty intriguing, to
Yes.
say the least.
And
So
I'll be working.
back to previewing the top 25. Well, I was gonna try to go to UNLV and Hawaii, but the game is at 1:00. So
Oh,
there we go with that. But finally, my Bulldogs get a test. They go to Jordan Hare Stadium, War Eagle. They take on the Auburn Tigers in the Deep South oldest rivalry. It's not going to be easy. Auburn plays tough defense, and they're always if you keep them around,
yeah,
Auburn finds a way to sneaky beat you. So back
true.
in the run game has got to come in there. They have to establish their tempo, establish Edwards early, find your big tight end in Bowers, let him do what he do, and the defense
Mm-hmm.
just take care of it. So that's going to be an intriguing matchup, but their first real test for my beloved Dogs as they try to repeat, which I'm trying to figure out who was the last team to three-peat as national champions. That's a good subject for me to go look up. But
I know
a
it had
huge
to be
matchup
back
for the
in the
Dogs
day.
to take on the Auburn Tigers. Florida takes on Florida takes on Kentucky.
Ooh, that'd be a
That'll
good
be
one.
in Lexington. Penn
Yeah.
State takes on Northwestern. Michigan takes on Nebraska in Lincoln. But Saturday, we will see what happens. I know JP will be rooting hard as his beloved Horns. Number 3 in the country, the 4-0 Kansas Jayhawks. So you got 4-0 versus 4-0 with the Jayhawks and the Longhorns, but the game is in Austin, so that should be a dandy. Missouri takes on Vanderbilt. Another interesting matchup that will take place in Mississippi. Ole Miss at home against LSU, 3-1 versus 3-1. That will be interesting. Notre Dame is on the road to Durham as number 11 Notre Dame takes on number 17 Duke, 4-1 versus 4-0. South Carolina versus Tennessee. Alabama goes to Starksville to take on the Bulldogs, Mississippi State. Washington at 4-0 on the road in Tucson to play the 3-1 improved Arizona Wildcats. So those are your matchups in the top 25.
Some good ones. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be shaking up this weekend.
So your Seminoles have a bye week, so a chance to rest up and get healthy for the stretch run. But just going to that conference, something to take to look at is obviously we talked about Louisville against NC State. That'll be intriguing. Obviously, I'm pretty sure for Florida State's eyes, their eyes will be on Notre Dame and Duke.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting there. Pac-12 matchups, you got Arizona State coming to Berkeley to take on Cal. We talked about Oregon and Stanford and USC and Colorado. Just to be tack with the rest of the SEC, Texas A&M takes on Arkansas. That rounds up the last SEC matchup because we talked about all the other ones. The Big 12, Houston and Texas Tech, Baylor against Central Florida, Iowa State against Oklahoma, TCU and West Virginia, 3-1 versus 3-1. That should be a real interesting matchup in Fort Worth, Texas. And in the Big 10, Louisiana takes on Minnesota. Maryland at 4-0 takes on Indiana. Purdue takes on Illinois. Rutgers takes on Wagner. Michigan State takes on Iowa. And we'll see how Michigan State will compete now that the whole Mel Tucker situation has been taken care of as he got fired.
That's sad.
Which is weird because
That's sad. That's terribly sad.
it is. Well, it's more sad if he actually did it, which would actually really, really suck.
Yes.
Because, I mean, he is a good football coach.
Yes.
But, I mean, it is what it is.
Agreed.
UNLV will try to go to 4-1 on Saturday as they take on the 2-3 Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Fresno State at home against Nevada Reno, the Wolfpack. Utah State takes on UConn. Boise State on the road to take on the 3-1 Memphis Tigers. Wyoming and New Mexico go at it. Utah takes on Colorado State, and to round that out, it'll be San Diego State against the Air Force Academy.
Oh, that's now, always a good.
Real quick, switching over to baseball real quick. I'll just say this, and I will say this to my team that I root for. This upcoming homestand, which I think is 7 games, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Hold on. 1, 2,
it's just
3,
tough, man. You started off so well.
5, 6. So these last 6 games, 3 against the Padres, 3 against the Dodgers. At this point, it's all over but the grind. They're not making the wild card because they just can't hit worth the damn. And it's been that way since the All-Star break. And you pretty much have to win out, and you have to hope the Cubs just become the lovable losers again, which I don't see that happening because this Cubs team is real, real good. And
yes, they are.
And not to mention the Marlins are good too.
Yeah.
So with that said, these last 6 games, you better learn and appreciate and love on number 35. And I'm talking about one Brandon Michael Crawford.
Yeah, I think it's over after this year.
It's been a struggle for him. He's been battling knee and hamstring injuries all year long.
Mm-hmm.
But these last 6 games, I implore the crowd in San Francisco to appreciate this man and love on him because he's one of us. Grew up in Pleasanton. Went to Pleasanton High School. His parents were season ticket holders. And, of course,
famous picture.
What could have been the last game at Candlestick back on September the 27th, 1992, his picture looking like he's frustrated because, there's that sign that says, "Don't leave." Now, we all thought the Giants were leaving until the late Peter McGowan, God bless him, saved them from leaving to go to Tampa. And they're still in San Francisco to this day. And now they have one of the most beautiful ballparks in America with one of the most fantastic views you would ever want to see.
Yeah.
He was drafted by the Giants. He is the last, even though Brandon Belt is still playing for the Blue Jays, but as far as being on the actual team, Brandon Crawford is the last link to 2012 and 2014, which hard to believe the 10th anniversary for 2014 is next season. Just goes to show you how time flies. But I hope Crawford can come back and play in the last game on October the 1st against the Dodgers. And I hope this crowd can love on him and appreciate him like they did for Bum in his last at-bat. They didn't get the chance to do it for Posey because Posey and the Giants actually got to the playoffs in 2021. But just the look on Posey's face after they clinched, you can kind of tell that this is probably his last run because he was really soaking it all in.
Yeah, he was the only one too.
So I'm really hoping
it was the team was behind him, and he was just out in center field, just gazing out there. So that was felt.
He was taking it all in.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the Giants fans that they really love on Crawford and appreciate him and basically just thank him for all he's done. Because, I mean, he, along with Posey, they do so much for, the kid cancer stuff.
Yes. Most definitely.
So I just implore Giants fans. I know the season is disappointing, and we can go into reasons why the show or why the team was disappointing. I mean, You go back to August 3rd. They were 61-49, and as Mizzle pointed this out, which I totally forgot, they were 2.5 games back of the division. The division. They were 2.5 back of the division.
Playing good baseball.
Playing good baseball. And we're talking about, you know what? Do I have to come back down in October during the playoff run again? Which, I was highly contemplating because, that just happens. But, and then it just, okay. Now we're about to go into the portion of why I say analytics can go to hell. Now, it works for the Tampa Bay Rays, and God bless them for it. They're in a pennant race with the Baltimore Orioles in the American League East, and for the fifth time and for the fifth straight year, the Rays are in the playoffs. God bless them.
But it cost the World Series.
It's worked for them. Yes, it did.
It cost them.
How you going to take out Blake Snell, who's dealing, and the Dodgers can't figure him out, but you still take him out because the analytics say to take him out after the fifth inning. Well, guess what happened?
Cost them a World Series.
Celebrated a double championship. That wasn't even half a season. Yeah. Okay. Now, I fast forward to this. And I know Farhan and Gabe Kepper is all analytics prone, but here's where I have a problem with that. Okay. So let's just say you're 2 for 2. You're 2 for 2. You're swinging the bat well. But because this says I need to pinch hit for him, you pinch hit for him. Let me go back to last night's game. I think it was the third, fourth inning. The Giants have the bases loaded. 2 outs. Tyro Strada, a very capable hitter, and hitting 300 all season long. The man has some pop in his bat. Man's got, I think, 13 home runs on the season. So he's not a punch and shoot hitter. Tyro Strada can drive the ball.
Yeah.
There is no analytics known to man that's going to tell me, let me bunt with 2 outs with the bases loaded. You're down 2-0. Base hit possibly ties you the game. Now,
who are you trying to fool, Bunny?
Yesterday, the Giants have the bases loaded. 3 times, could not score 1 run. And the difference in losing the game was 1 flipping run. 1 run. Now, kudos to that damn team of blue that I can't stand. They played a fantastic defensive game and was one of the reasons why the game was close and it went to extras because their defense was fantastic. I mean, how many people that can go from right field to play second base and not miss a beat on defense? Yes, I'm talking about one Mookie Betts. Man can go from right field, come in to play second base, and it's like, is there anything he can't do on the baseball field?
Exactly.
It's like they could probably put him at catcher, and he could probably throw runners out. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now, yes, I promised Mizzle was going to give you passion. Now, here I am giving passion. But here's what I don't understand. Okay.
There's nothing wrong with it. Go for it.
Now. Okay. What's been the one common thing as opposed to the Dodgers and Giants, and while the Dodgers have owned this division 10 last 11 years? It's because the Dodgers have a set everyday lineup, while the Giants platoon. As a hitter, and anyone that's ever played baseball knows this, as a hitter, you cannot get into any kind of a rhythm if you're always being platooned. Okay.
Yep.
Pinch hitting is very hard to do. It is. As good as you are hitting wise, coming in cold all game long and you're being asked to pinch hit, which is why kudos to Mark Sweeney, because Mark Sweeney was a career out of being a pinch hitter, and I think he has the all-time career leader for pinch hits from a pinch hitter. Google Mark Sweeney if you don't know who he is. But it's very hard to do.
Mhm.
But when you're always platooning and then you think you hit a corner, you're hitting a stride and you're coming out of your slump and then you're going to sit, that messes up your rhythm as a hitter.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why the Giants at times look like they can't, hit anything because they're always flickering with the lineup. Again, I love Wilmer Flores. God bless him. Wilmer Flores has been a fantastic Giant since he's been here. But when he's your best hitter, now again, I literally used to go to Cashman Field and watch Wilmer Flores perform in the minor leagues when he was in the Mets organization, when the Mets AAA affiliate was out here in Las Vegas. So I've literally seen Wilmer Flores grow up.
Yeah.
And yes, even then, the Friends theme was playing when he came up to bat. That's just that's how Wilmer. For those that don't know, that's how Wilmer Flores learned English, by watching the show Friends. So that's why the theme song to Friends is his walk-up music. And every time Dwayne Kuiper picks him on the post-game rap, DC plays the theme song when Kuiper talks about him, or when anybody else picks him on the post-game rap. But when he's your best hitter, that's a problem. Here's my thing. Now again, they're 5 games out, and I think they're like 2 or 1 loss away from being eliminated. If that's the case, then you know what? Sit down, Haniger. Sit down, Conforto. Let Matos, let Fitzgerald, let Ramos play them in the outfield. Those are 3 young guys. They all can cover the ground in the outfield. Let them play. See what you got. Okay? Let those 3 be a part of 2024. 2024, go young. Okay?
Yeah.
Let Luciano play shortstop. Let Schmidt play third base. Okay? You know who Tyro is at second base, and then figure out who's your everyday first. You need to put out an everyday lineup if you're going to compete, because this platooning stuff, it's going to put you where you're at, 500 or a couple of games under 500. Okay, 2021, everything went right for whatever reason. It went right in 2021.
Buster Posey.
Well, he does help in that equation. Yes, he does. But I'm just saying. And unfortunately, I think because of that season, that's another reason why I'm thinking Farhan and Kapler are getting another year. But they have to become more athletic. You have to put out there an everyday lineup to compete with the Dodgers. But now, not just that. There's a team in the desert in Phoenix, Arizona. If you have not seen the Diamondbacks play this year, they're good.
They're on their way.
Okay?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
They're on their way.
They're on their way. Okay, to the point to where 2 key people that have been a part of the Diamondbacks for years got DFA'd. Nick Ahmed, their longest tenured player, and who was a very good shortstop in his own right, got designated for assignment because Gerardo Perdomo is on his way, and he's pretty doggone good with the glove. Carson Kelly, a long-time staple of beyond the plate, but because the prized possession of the Darton Valsho trade, Gabriel Moreno, the catcher of the future, which was a high prospect for the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
He's been good enough to get Carson Kelly DFA'd. Okay. You know who Ketel Marte is.
Yep.
You know who Christian Walker is.
Sure
They
does.
can play.
Yep.
Okay. But now you got Perdomo. Now you got Alec Thomas. Okay. Tommy Pham has been reinvigorated, getting traded from the Mets to the Diamondbacks. He's been up and out. But dadgummit, if you have not seen Corbin Carroll play baseball, Corbin Carroll is a problem. Because not only can he hit you 25 home runs, but he can steal bases. Okay? That outfield that they have, and it doesn't matter. They can have Thomas in left, Corbin Carroll in Well, all three of them can play all three positions.
Just say they can interchange. It doesn't matter.
Interchangeable. So you can
Yeah.
have Thomas, McCarthy, and Carroll in the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you hit the ball over the wall, if it's
They're
up
getting
in the air in the park,
Yeah, they're getting
their
it.
speed, they're catching it. So you have to hit it over their head or you have to hit it in the gap because if it's near their glove range, they're going to get it with all that speed in the outfield, which is why I think they could be a dark horse underdog to make it around the playoffs because they got Merrill Kelly and they got Zach Gallen. That's a nasty 1-2 punch. And the bullpen got better with Paul Sewald getting traded from Seattle to the Diamondbacks to fortify that bullpen. I'm just telling you, the Diamondbacks are on their way. So now that's two teams the Giants have to worry about. And if the damn fathers can get their crap together,
well, they just got a payroll. That's what they got.
Yeah. But I mean, if they can get their crap together with all that talent they got, they could be something. But you got to put yourself together in an everyday lineup and be like, okay, you know what? This is my everyday lineup. I'm going to ride with you guys through thick and thin. Because as we know, 162, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We all know this. But just to be where they were on August the 3rd, to where they are now, 2 games under 500. And there have been some people that have asked, has Kapler lost the clubhouse? And that is a real legit question. That's a real legit question because, I mean, has he? I don't know. Because we can balance it. Because, okay, yes, Farhan Zaidi is a very smart man. And yes, he did not want to trade his prospects to try and make trades. But the fact is that they didn't do nothing at the trade deadline. They didn't go out and get a starting pitcher. There were plenty of starting pitchers out there. Because Logan Webb and Alex Cobb before Cobb got shut down with the hip injury needed some help. Okay.
Yep.
Now, yes, Kyle Harrison and Logan Webb, that's your future. That's your future 1-2 dynamic duo. So we know that's set. But again, you paid Anthony Desclafani all that money, and he's been having ankle issues ever since. You paid Alex Wood. Alex Wood went to the bullpen. He got better as the season went along, but he's a starter, not a relief guy. Now, Sean Manaea got a lot better when he went to the bullpen in May, but he's a roller coaster because you never know which version you're going to get. When he's on, we have seen good Sean Manaea. Manaea has thrown a no-hitter in his career. When he's on, he can pitch. But it's the inconsistency that frustrates you. So I didn't mean to veer off in the left field, but I had to just say, you know what, Giants fans, appreciate Brandon Michael Crawford for what he's done and what he's brought for these last 13 years as a Giant.
I agree.
And if it is his last round as a Giant, nobody should never wear a 35 in that organization ever again. That is Chris Spires. That is Chris Spires and Brandon Crawford's number. No one should wear that number ever again. That's just my 2 cents. Okay, back to the NFL. It's very rare that teams in the NFL score 50. If you score 5 touchdowns in a game, you're jumping for joy.
Yes.
Okay. If you score 7, you might be popping balls in the club.
Hey, it's a good night. It's a good night.
It's a good day. That's a very good day.
Yeah.
But, and this is a huge but. But when you score 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 días! 10 touchdowns in an NFL game. Some teams will be lucky if they get 10 touchdowns in a 5-week span.
6 by your running backs. 6 by your running backs.
Let alone in one game. the Miami Dolphins, that offense is starting to legit scare me of how potentially good 70 points. Yesterday was the home opener at the house that Dan Marino built. I still call it Joe Robbie Stadium.
Yes.
But of course it's Hard Rock now. But if you went to the game yesterday in Miami, Florida, which I hope you did, because the Dolphins are trying to make a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. So their capacity is 64,982. They went 1,000 over the limit. 65,522 was it. So yes, it was capacity filled, which is a good thing. I'm glad.
Got those
indeed. Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to leave at halftime, you could have. If you wanted to. To piggyback what Mizzle said. 6 of your running backs find the end zone. Raheem Mostert finds the end zone 4 times.
A-Chain.
And Devon A-Chain. The third.
Just 2 bills.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, they play that game without their other stud at wide receiver, Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle took the week off. And Lord knows, if he was there, they might have gotten to 80 with the way that offense was flowing.
Oh my God!
I really want to know if Miami punted the ball at all. That's the only question I want to know is, did Miami punt the ball?
Maybe 2 times, if that.
Well,
if that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they went 5 for 9 on 3rd down.
All right.
Okay.
And they did go for it a couple of times on 4th. They were sticking it to the Broncos. I don't know.
They went 1 for 3 on 3rd down.
Okay.
They averaged 10 yards a play. So every play they averaged a first down a play. They ran for 350 yards. 350 and averaging 8 a pop. They were 6 for 6 in the red zone. 30 first downs. You can't help but to laugh because you're when you told me this, I'm like, what?
Madden numbers.
Okay.
It's Madden.
I'm like, okay. Now I know you like to be a jokester, but so I had to. I'm at the Aviators baseball game as they're taking on the Aces, as I got free tickets. So I went to the last home game of the season, which the Aviators won 6-5.
Nice.
So I got Red Zone on my phone while I'm at the game, just to stay afloat, while Mizzle's also giving me updates. I'm looking at, I'm like, if you, that's a 7.
Yeah.
And that is
yeah.
Very rare teams get blown out by 50 points in the NFL. But the Denver Broncos got blown out by 50 points.
Has Sean Payton lost the locker room already?
Who does that?
Has Sean Payton lost the locker room already?
It's dicey in Denver. and last season, Denver had a very good defense.
Yes, they did.
Thinking that Sean Payton's going to fix Russell Wilson. And I mean, Russell threw for over 300 yards.
Well, probably
Sutton
garbage.
I'm sure. But I mean, Sutton had a good game. Judy had a good game. But okay, Tua was 22. Okay, I'm sorry. Tua was 23 of 26 for 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. Only missed 3 throws. Okay. Then Mike White, the former Jets quarterback, he throws 2 passes, completes them both for 67 yards. And oh, by the way, he throws a touchdown. Okay. Tyreek Hill, 9 catches. Up
Give me points.
57.
Yep.
PD.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie Chosen, a.k.a. Robbie Anderson, 1 catch for 68 yards. Oh, by the way, finds the end zone.
Touchdown from Mike White.
That was the touchdown pass from Mike White. Yes. Raheem Mostert, 7 catches, 60 yards, a touchdown. Devon Jane, 4 catches, 30 yards, twice found the end zone. We're not even going to talk about his 18 carries for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaging 11.3 yards a run. Mostert, if you wanted to, could have had a bill. 13 carries, 82 yards, 3 TDs, and oh, by the way, averaging 6.3 yards carry. This Dolphins offense, do you think Dan Marino wants to come out of retirement?
I mean,
you put a prime Dan Marino with Mike McDaniels in this offense, and you put in Jalen Waddle back to complement Tyreek Hill.
They play the AFC West this year, right? Oh, the Chiefs and the Dolphins are going to be a good game.
We'll see them until the 19th. Well, I'll tell you this. Okay, wait. Whoa. Okay, now
they got the Bills next week, so get the scoreboard ready for that.
All I'm going to say is this: when the Chiefs play the Dolphins, Frankfurt, Germany, enjoy that.
Ooh.
You get a treat.
Ooh, the NFL was smart for that.
I will purposely wake up at 4 a.m. like I'm going to work to watch that game at 6:30 on NFL Network.
I will be doing the same.
I will set my alarm to wake up to watch that in Frankfurt, Germany.
That is going to be a good one.
And the Dolphins with all the offense that could possibly happen in that game. Okay.
They might as well just leave their defense in the States.
Back to the
that might be 50 points a game, 50 points each. I don't see nobody stopping nobody in that game.
Well, you saw what happened when the Rams played the Chiefs at the old Mausoleum a few years ago, the highest scoring game in Monday Night Football history. So
like 56 to 53 or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's going to be the same with this game.
And that was Jared Goff as the Rams quarterback. Now, just imagine that was Matthew Stafford.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So the Dolphins were only 2 points shy of the all-time record for most points scored by a single team in the NFL.
And they could have
more
points.
The record is still held by the then Washington Redskins when they scored 72 points against the Giants in 1966. All right. Now, the Dolphins' most points they scored as a team in one game was 55 in 1977 against the old St. Louis Cardinals. So, again, 10 touchdowns in one game. And they're going to Orchard Park where it's not cold yet. So the Bills defense, good luck with that.
Scoreboard.
But the Bills were impressive in their own right as they thrashed the Commanders 37-3 on the road. Bills playing with some motivation. They get the win. Kudos to the Colts, albeit with a controversial call in that game.
Was a hard-fought game. I watched that
Yes,
one to the end. That was a good game.
but the Colts returned to their original home and sent the Ravens home very unhappy as
Very
Matt
nice.
Gay, the former Rams kicker, hits a game-winning 53-yard field goal in overtime, and the mustache Gardner Minshew gets the Colts to a 2-1 record, and now the Colts and the Jaguars are tied for first in the South, but because the Jaguars have the tiebreaker over the Colts by way of their Week 1 win, the Jaguars still hold on to first place, but Zach Moss saying, "Hello, do you remember me?" Zach Moss
Indeed.
having himself again, which I loved him with the Bills, but I
Yep.
just thought he was not utilized enough. Because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Zach Moss can place the ball. The touchdown pass that he grabbed out of the air in the first quarter, not many running backs can do that. But
Mm-hmm.
Zach Moss, 30 carries, a buck 22,
Give it to him.
solidifying the running game. Michael Pittman Jr., get me points, young man. 9 catches for 77 yards. The Colts just find a way.
Yep.
Shane Steichen has this game, has the Colts battling for the South with the Jags. They get the win 2019. People might have to start taking the Cleveland Browns for real. Because the Browns easily could be 3-0. They lost a heartbreaker to the Steelers last Monday night,
Yeah.
and they came back and bounced back. And Jerome Ford is saying, "Hey, yes, adding Kareem Hunt is going to help, but don't sleep on me."
I'm good. I'm good. They played a complete game. That was a
Yeah,
complete game. Deshaun Watson looked like Deshaun Watson of old. He was dealing that ball yesterday. And Amari Cooper looks a little healthy. He's getting open. So yeah. And they got that guy by the name of Miles on the side playing defense that is just a monster getting in the
yeah.
back.
3.5 sacks yesterday. That's a pretty good day at the office. 3
Yeah,
tackles for loss. That's a pretty good day at the office.
yeah.
And not to mention Zadarius Smith is there. He's also there saying hello. But I mean, the defense just completely shut down Derrick Henry to the tone of Derrick Henry only had 11 carries for 20 yards. You hold Mr. Henry to 20 yards rushing. That is
Yeah.
doing something. And again,
Mm-hmm.
Tannehill struggled. Didn't turn the ball over, but I mean, it was just a complete thrashing for the Browns from start to finish. The Browns, a very solid 2-1, and I'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
what, next week is a huge, huge matchup in the AFC North as the original Browns, the Ravens, come to town to take on Cleveland in the dog pound. That's going to be a dandy of a matchup. That is
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be huge.
Yeah.
There were elements, but at the end of the day, the Patriots, as ugly as it is, they found a way to get it done. They beat the Jets 15-10. Again, the Jets fought, but here comes the questions. Do you go out there and go get a quarterback? I mean, Carson Wentz is still out there. Matt Ryan is still out there.
Zach Wilson is
I
not
don't know,
it.
man.
They can give him. I love
No.
what they're doing with the. They're giving him the confidence. But he's not it. He's not it. And seeing on the sideline, your star wide receiver is upset. Then you see your running back yelling at his coach. That's they got to get that in together. I mean, I know they put all their baskets with Aaron Rodgers, but you should have had a plan B. You always got to have a plan B in the NFL. You can just not always think that Aaron Rodgers was going to be there, which he has been somewhat of a healthy player, but you always got to have Zach Wilson is not the answer. He wasn't the answer last year, and he wasn't the answer before that. And you knew that. Because that's why you brought in Aaron Rodgers.
It makes you miss Mike White all that more. And now Mike White is sitting in Miami, backing up Tua Tagovailoa.
And Matt White was a winner. There was nothing wrong with him running that offense.
No, not at all. So
yeah,
a huge question Aaron Saleh has to deal with is do they go to the drawing board? What do they have to do to to get it right because I
fix
don't know.
Zach Wilson or get it or go get a veteran quarterback right now. That's what you got to do. Plain and simple.
But who'd you go get is the question.
Matt Ryan is not. If you're looking for a gap quarterback, I would say Matt Ryan more that he's the more veteran. I wouldn't go with Carson Wentz because Carson Wentz is almost just to continue to have Zach Wilson. You should just stick with Zach Wilson if you're going to go get Wentz. It doesn't get any better.
Ooh, Ooh, you went there. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not. But I mean, Carson Wentz was a former MVP candidate. I mean,
yeah, but look what's happening now. He got booted out of Washington.
Correct.
Booted out of Indy.
Again, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not. I'm not. I don't know, man. It's. I don't know.
You got to ride Zach Wilson.
That's tough. I mean, sheesh.
I hate to say it, but I feel sorry for the Jets because I had high hopes for them this year. I mean, I've been had high hopes for them the moment they hired Robert Saleh. I'm like, oh, the Jets are going to be good. They're going to be good.
We've been hyping up the Jets. We've been hyping up the Jets like we've been hyping up the Lions because of what direction the respective coaches were going in, and it's unfortunate.
They're snake bitten.
It's very unfortunate.
They're snake bitten right now. That's all I can say. But they'll find a way to beat my Raiders, though.
I promise you, we will get to. I promise you, we will get to Mizzle's passion about his team in a few. I promise. However, continuing on. Okay, as we're looking, no, nothing yet. If Giannis is taking tip. Oh, wait a minute. Let me hold on. Let me look at this correctly. Okay. Giannis might be a problem this upcoming season. He is taking tips from Hakeem Olajuwon. Oh boy.
That's right. That's right.
You know what that means. If you're taking tips from the dream.
The footwork is going to be amazing.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. All right. So the Lions bounce back with a win over the Falcons to get 2-1. Jared Goff bounces back well, as you thought they would. Jahmyr Gibbs, 17 carries, 80 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is that guy, 9 catches for $102. Sam Laporta, 8 catches. Sam Laporta, 8 catches, 84 yards. And again, Desmond Ridder. I think Alex Peace has got to take the ball. He's got to let the man throw the ball. Trying to run and play good defense can win you a lot of games, but also at times it can take you that far. It can only take you so far. But Falcons 2-1, Lions 2-1. Lions bounce back and get the win. We already talked about the Bills thrashing the Commanders in Landover, Maryland. Sam Howell was in a very giving mood with the Bills to the atonement of 4 interceptions. And James Cook, that Georgia Bulldog, proving to be what he is, a Bulldog, and solidifying, helping the run game with...
Runs just like his brother.
Yeah, he does.
Their style is just the same. But the younger brother is a little more shiftier than Dalvin. He was making people miss yesterday. Oh my goodness.
James has a little bit more speed than Dalvin.
Yeah.
But they're both dynamic backs, and they both can catch out the backfield, which is always a very good dynamic.
Yes,
when you're trying to take the pressure off of Josh Allen. So the Bills bounce back, and we already teased it's the Bills and the Dolphins next week. And like I said, we do our picks for that. That's going to be a tough one to pick. I don't know which route I'm gonna go with that one.
I don't know either.
Or we might use a mulligan and be like, you know what? We're just fans for that game.
Yes, we tend to do that.
which we can't do on the show because it's our show and we do what we want on the show.
Damn right.
But this one was quite shocking, but nonetheless, Bastard, you got the win because we picked different spots, and it was looking good for me. And then the doggone quarterback decides to get hurt, and then Jordan Love leads a 17-point comeback, and the Green Bay Packers, in their home opener in front of the Lambeau faithful, come back to beat the Saints 18-17.
Well, the kicker had a chance to win the game for the Saints. He just went wide right.
Well, that's what you get for trading Will Lutz. But hey. I mean, pardon me to try to understand why you're going to trade one of your all-time players, but, hey, I digress. But that's not my that's not my thing. But, I mean, Jordan Love showed some spunk in leading the comeback. I mean, the kid is playing with poise. A lot of people thought that is he scared of the moment. Obviously, he is not. And so far through 3 games, the Packers are 2-1, and this is a big matchup coming up Thursday at the Frozen Tundra between the Lions and the Packers early going in the NFC North.
How the fuck to pick that?
That's going to be a very that's going to be a tough one. D'Amico Ryans is on the board. He gets his first win in impressive fashion, and congratulations to him as the Texans unexpectedly
with a lot
go into Duval.
A lot of passion
and
in that
just
game.
They were up 17-0 at halftime, and that was enough to beat the Jags. The Jags got within 10, but CJ Stroud said, hold it. The first win is going to come today, and the Jags just took a double. But when you go 9 for 15 on third downs, as the Texans did,
you tend to win games.
You tend to win games.
Yeah.
It helps. Stroud was 20 of 30 for 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Sunshine struggled through for 279, touchdown interception. But it was Tank Dell. Yes, Tank Dell, as in Dell the computer. 5 catches, $145, and 1 touchdown. He had the big day. But I'm sorry. I am wrong. I am sorry. I apologize. Let me correct myself. The Indianapolis Colts are in first place by themselves in the AFC South. I'm sorry. This loss puts the Jaguars at 1-2. So I apologize, fans. We try to, get our stats right on the show. So let me correct myself. I'm sorry. The Colts are in first place in the AFC South at 2-1. So,
all right.
Let me apologize for that. This game here easily had the Chargers charging and the Vikings being the Vikings, but it was a very entertaining game. But the Chargers get on the board with a 28-24 win. As we both took the L on that one because we both picked Minnesota, because I'll be danged if I pick the Chargers again, because the Chargers do this to me every freaking time. Even though it cost them Mike Williams for the season, they're on the board and they get the win. But obviously, it's the same thing that it always has been for the Chargers, is too much pressure on Justin Herbert to throw the ball. They've got to get some kind of a running game going. Even though Madison ran the ball well for the Vikings, 93 yards on 20 carries. Kirk Cousins threw for 367. JJ was JJ again, 7 catches for $149. But Mr. Keenan Allen,
hello,
18 grabs, 250 points. Give me 45 points in fantasy, young man.
Oh, by the way, I can throw a touchdown too. Oh, by the way, I can throw a touchdown.
Yeah. And which really hurts me more because Mike Williams in this game yesterday had 7 catches for $121 and that
Yeah,
touchdown
I
that
gotta
he
drop
caught
him.
from Keenan Allen. But again, I do too. He's out for the season.
I gotta figure out which one I got him in, but yeah, he's
Yeah.
that just sucks, man.
If you're, in case you're just joining us, we came on the air. Immediately, Mike Williams out for the season, torn ACL. It sucks, but the Chargers are on the board at 1-2, and the Vikings at 0-3. I don't think anybody had the Vikings starting the season 0-3, which how they were so good last year at winning close games, and now they seem to be losing the close games. But
Yeah,
the Chargers are on the board, or they get the first one of the year by a final score of 28-24. This one, he got me. It looks promising. The Panthers had a lead, but Kenneth Walker III from Michigan State said, "Hold my beer."
he sure did.
To the atonement of 18 carries for 97 yards and finds the end zone twice. Geno Smith threw for 296. Andy Dalton, who started, played well, threw for 361, threw for 2 TDs, but at the end of the day, DK Metcalf is that guy, 6 catches for $112. And old man Adam Thielen had himself a very good game, 11 catches for $145. But at the end of the day, the run game of the Seahawks was too much, and Panthers getting shut out in the third quarter led to the Seahawks getting a win, so they're 2-1. Panthers are 0-3. But the Panthers are they're getting there. The Panthers are getting there. I have no doubt that Frank Wright will get the ship right.
I agree.
So the Panthers, they're on their way. Maybe just not this year, but Mizzle got the win on that because he chose the Seahawks. I chose the Panthers. And there you go. I definitely did not have this happening yesterday. But, well, if you saw Stephen A's video, that's all I need to say.
Damn it! I meant to watch First Take this morning. I listened to it while I was dropping off DeAndre at school, but I didn't see that either. I did not see the Cardinals. With
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the Arizona Cardinals that seem to give the Cowboys fits every time they've gone to play them since that stadium has opened up back in 2006. I don't know what because when they used to go to Sun Devil Stadium, they handle business. Now, ever since the big toaster has gotten built, they have played some fluky games in that stadium whenever the Cowboys have come to that stadium. I don't know. And at first, you were questioning why the Cardinals keep going for 2. Why do they keep doing that? To which, what's going on here? So, Cowboys get within 15-10, and you thought, okay, the Cowboys might have woken up, and now they just might unleash the hounds.
Might start playing some football.
The Cardinals use the foot of Matt Prater, and I mean the Cardinals just. I'm dumbfounded because they
were the better team. Just put it that way. They were just a better team.
Playing so well. They were on this day. They were. I mean, Joshua Dobbs took care of the ball, 17 for 21 for 189 and the touchdown. But again, people are forgetting how good James Conner is.
He was good in Pittsburgh.
He was very good in Pittsburgh, but some say he might have went to purgatory in the desert. But all he has done is balled out since he has come to the desert. 14 carries, 98 yards, another touchdown. I mean, Tony Pollard ran for $122. I mean, what more could he have done? But at the end of the day, the Cardinals with the shocker. And I said, I hope my team is watching. I hope my team is not falling for a trap because this is a trap game. And it reminded me of 2020 when Colt McCoy was the starting quarterback and the Cardinals came in and they just made the Niners look silly stupid back in 2020. So that's why I'm saying the Niners.
It's a confidence builder for the Cardinals.
Pay attention to this game. It's a trap. Don't fall for it. But kudos to the Cardinals. Coach Gannon gets his first win as Cardinals head coach. They beat the Cowboys 28-16, and the Cowboys, in their case, they better come playing upset because there's a former Cowboy coming to Arlington, Texas this upcoming Sunday by the name of Ezekiel Elliott. We don't need to talk about the Chiefs and the Bears. That's what we expected. Don't need to talk about that game at all. But we will say the Chiefs won 41-10. That was the final score.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I've given some passion. And now my co-host is going to give you some passion of what happened on Sunday night in a 5-point win for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Nothing happened on Sunday night. One fucking team showed up.
As you can see under his name, it says Pissed Off Raider Fan. So I'm going to let the Pissed Off Raider Fan unleash his passion. So, ladies and gentlemen, by virtue of StreamYard, I give thee, my very good friend and brother, and one Pissed Off Raider Fan, Mizzle Mace. The floor is yours.
One person only showed up to play football, and his name is Devontae Adams. I mean, what else could he have done to try to win? I guess play quarterback, because I don't know what the fuck Jimmy Garoppolo was seeing yesterday. 1 minute he was looking good, then the next he's throwing balloon fucking balls. And yet again, he put Devontae Adams in the situation to get carted off the fucking field. I'm getting sick of seeing that shit. I'm sick of it. I'm about ready to say Garoppolo needs to. I hope, you know what? I hope he is in protocol, because I would love to see Aiden O'Connell get a start. I would love to see the young man with the ones. I would love it. He can throw the ball deep down the field, stronger arm than Garoppolo. It might be time to put JJ in until he gets his feet wet, because him starting, they're daring Garoppolo to throw the ball. They're putting 8 in the box. Every week we're seeing 8 in the box, and we cannot do shit. Running game is horrible. I don't know if it's JJ taking the holdout, or is the offensive line just crappy? Where's Hunter Renfrow? Where is Hunter Renfrow at, man? I mean, we call him third and Renfrow, the slot god, the slot machine, and I don't see him.
3 catches the whole season. 3 catches the whole season in 3 games so far.
And what? This has been the issue with the Raiders for years. We get one good pass rusher, and we can't get somebody to go on the side of him. I don't know what the hell is going on with Chandler Jones. He's getting paid. I know that. Why do we always get these talented players where they play good elsewhere, and the moment they put on that silver and black uniform, it's almost like, oh, I forgot how to play football. Marcus Epps was one of the top free agent pickups that we got coming from Philadelphia, just coming off a Super Bowl year. A tremendous player. He's chasing somebody. He's out of place. I love Marcus Peters. I do. I really do. He's an excellent corner, but he's on the downcline of his career. I mean, I'm not just saying that pick six he could have had. It was easy walk in, but the one touchdown, he was nowhere near that receiver. I can't think of his name right now. Something the third, but he was gone. He was gone.
Calvin Austin the third.
Yeah, he was gone. Off goal, he left Peters in the dust. Patrick Graham has to go. I'm done. This is 2 years of his no play calling ass on defense. Josh McDaniels. I'm not going to even waste my breath on Josh McDaniels. Just,
oh my.
Yeah. I would have rather died losing this game if he went for it. You know, the defense wasn't stopping shit, and you give us 3 points. I'd rather him try to go for it. Devontae Adams was cooking. You're in that position. Get the fucking. I mean, I know he took points, but damn it.
13 catches.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only person that Devontae was looking for. I mean, the only person Garoppolo was looking for. I mean, and that was a bullshit. That was a bullshit. Go ahead.
Well, out of his 28 completions, 20 of them went to Adams and Myers combined. Obviously, Devontae had 13 for $172, had both touchdowns. Myers had 7 catches for 85 yards. But it's like, can the tight end get involved? I mean, can the tight end get involved in the pass game? Can he? I mean, Michael Bear was wide open on that 2-point conversion. He was butt naked wide open, which he has the ability to be that if you can, find him down the seam. But an interesting point you caught on was you're asking maybe you need to put in Zeus so JJ can get back in football shape. For lack of a better term. So if you're calling for Patrick Graham's job, who would you want to see or like to see as the next defensive coordinator if this continues? Because, okay, first it was you didn't have the players for your scheme. Now it's okay, you have the players. Defense looked good in training camp, and for the most part looked good in the preseason. What's the issue now that we're in live action? What's the issue now?
Can't call
Marcus Epps was man on that one play. Marcus Epps was man on that one play on that 4th down catch to Allen Robinson, to where something was disguised, and I guess it was the wrong placement to where Epps got there too late on that particular third down play, which in a sense gave the Steelers the win per se. And I agree. Somebody has to compliment Max because Max is going to get double and triple teamed
all day long.
It's unfortunate that Tyree Wilson's foot is not fully yet, because I think he can be that guy.
Yeah, I'm giving that young man time.
I'm not placing blame on him, because I mean you see the promise, you see the wingspan. Yeah. I just think again, when you're dealing with your feet, the first thing that you have to gain back is your explosiveness.
Yep.
That's the reason why Patrick Willis retired at such a young age, because he said, my feet just could not cooperate with me.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the reason why he retired. So it was because of his feet. If your feet is having issues and you can't use explosiveness, you're no good on the football field. You're not.
You're not.
Because you've got to have your explosiveness, especially if you're going to be an edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing you have to have, is your feet at 100% or close to it, to where you do not lose your explosion. So I'll ask you this. What has to change? And I know some fans are calling for Ziegler to fire his boy, because I mean that was his boy, that was his handpicked boy, that's what he wanted. But right now, you're staring at 1-2. You get a huge division win to start the season. Your first drive against the Bill looked promising, and then all of a sudden, the first touchdown drive against the Steelers, you look very good, and then Garoppolo decides to be in a giving mood.
That's what changed the whole dynamic of the game. That interception took the air out of everything. It seems like
the
first one. The first one just took the air out of everything. It seems like that team, only person out there that wanted to play was Devontae. I mean, and Jimmy Garoppolo is not seeing the field because he only looks at Adams, because if he would have saw Myers are open Renfro was open on a few passes. I mean, the little check down he did to can't think of his name right now, the running back, 22. He just, I don't know if they were
Amir
not
Abdullah.
okay.
Amir
Yeah,
Abdullah.
I don't know what was going on there. It's I don't know if it's the lack. I don't know, man. I just don't know.
I was watching the post game show on NBC3 here in Vegas, and he was talking to Lincoln Kennedy. Of course, Lincoln Kennedy is the radio color commentator for the Raiders Radio with Jason Horowitz, and he was just saying that Garoppolo needs to see the field because, again, what you just said, he pointed out that Renfro was wide open on some catches. Mayer was wide open on some catches. It's almost like at times watching Kaepernick, if the one read's not there, it's happy feet, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
And again, for a person that knows this offense, that was in this offense for 3.5 seasons, you're like, what the hey? What's going on here? Because, again, it's see it, process it, let it rip. Something that Aiden O'Connell was doing very well in the preseason. He processed it, saw it, let it rip. Almost kind of like how Brock Purdy is. See it, let it rip.
Yep.
Another point.
Go ahead. The Raiders are the only team in the NFL to not score over 20 points.
Oh, wow. That is a fact.
$1 million offense, and they can't put 20 points on the fucking board.
Oh, that is, oh boy. That is, wow.
So, spoiler alert, I'm picking the Inglewood Chargers to thrash the fucking Raiders next week. I don't see it getting any better. I do not see it getting any better. And we're wasting Devontae Adams' prime years right now. We are just wasting his talent.
As he said in the locker room, he says, it's too late right now to try to figure out what our identity is.
Yep.
That should have been figured out. That should have been figured out already.
Yep.
And you can see the frustration in his face. You can see it. It's clearly there.
Same face he had last year.
Correct. So there's too much. There's too much talent on that offense for them to be underachieving. It is.
So it's the play calling. So it has to be the play calling in, right? The play calling and the quarterback.
I would think. Because again, and not to throw shade on DC because we've dissected that subject.
Same results.
For term, but
same results.
Yeah. But I mean, good Lord, Bruce Gradkowski would have found his tight end, for crying out loud. Doc B would have found somebody.
Billy Joe Holbert would have found a tight end.
Dare I say, if Vince Evans was still throwing the ball deep, I guarantee Vince Evans could probably still throw the ball deep right now. With his
brother Jay Schrader, and Jay Schrader would have found Renfro. Yes, I said it. Jay fucking Schrader would have found Renfro. Okay. Todd Marinovich would have found the tight end. Okay. Yes, I said Todd Marinovich. You damn right I did. Like I said on my post, like I said on my Facebook post last night, Jimmy Garoppolo had a defense in Santa Clara. They were the reason he was a winner. The Raiders are not prepped for Jimmy Garoppolo. The defense was built all the way around Jimmy Garoppolo. When Jimmy fucked up, the defense bailed his ass out. We don't have that defense in Vegas. We don't. This defense is built to deal with a rookie. So I'm over the Jimmy Garoppolo experience. I seen this shit in Santa Clara. I never wanted Jimmy Garoppolo. Hell, I never wanted McDaniels. But here I am,
This is facts.
just a pissed off Raider
But
fan.
he has said this. He has said this on multiple occasions because he was like, I don't want McDaniels. And then once McDaniels became that coach, I don't want Garoppolo. He was abundantly clear on that. All I said was don't be surprised because, I mean, again, I understand Marcus trying to have a winning culture around the organization. I get it. I understand it. And right now, his status against the Chargers is in question.
Good.
Getting all
Put the Ray out there. Fuck it. I do not want to see Hoyer. No, it's like Jimmy Garoppolo, okay? Hoyer had a fucked up preseason. So why would we start him? Put the young man in. Put the young man in.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to call Q on unnecessary roughness on Raider Nation Radio, which you can listen to on any apps. Yeah, Q is very solid. So you can listen to him. I'm pretty sure they're going to call into him. I'm pretty sure they're going to call into the guy that our dad does not like. He is not a fan of JT the Brick. He will tell you that.
Mo
He will tell you.
There's another writer, Mo Moulton. He knows his stuff. Yeah. Put the kid in.
Tafer is very good. Big Tafer's very good, and of course, our boy, Mr. Paul Gutierrez, Mr. Amy G, as we like to call him.
Yes. Vinny Bonsignor.
I'm pretty sure a lot of Raider Nation. Yes, I'm pretty sure a lot of Raider Nation is gonna call me like, put O'Connell in. What do you got to lose?
Put the kid in.
Lose? I mean,
let him go toe to toe with Herbert. I believe it will be a great matchup. I guarantee you, O'Connell will get 8 out the box. I guarantee you he'll get 8 out the box, and that will open up more for JJ because they don't trust. Every defense knows Jimmy Garoppolo can't throw the ball deep. Shit, 10, 15 yards, that's his bread and butter. Why would we play off? Why would we do that? You put the kid in who can deliver that fucking ball and can get Trey Turner going too. Why? And again, why are we not using our speedster? What the? I love my hair too much to pull it out right now. But like you said, we don't have nothing to lose right now. Hey, honestly, I'll ride and die with the kid. Let's put the kid in. Put him in. Put him in. I'm with it. I do not want to see Hoyer because that's the same thing that's happened to Garoppolo back out there. He ain't seeing the field at all. He showed that in preseason. And so if that organization put Hoyer out there, we are a pissed off fan base that deserves better. I'm sick of this shit that they give us so much promise. I'm like, yes, we got Devontae Adams. Woo! We got a proven number one. JJ, woo! Darren Waller, woo! Which I'm kind of glad they got what they got for Waller. I understand the reason why what we did with that one. I understand that. So, but at the time when we got Devontae, you had JJ Waller, you had Renfro, Adams, DC got his boy. We should be same old fucking Raider football. Ain't shit changed, and I don't know what the fuck. I don't know.
And I hate to go back to this question, but I'm going to go back to this question. And you have to gauge your locker room. And I'll give you 2 examples. Even though it didn't work out for my team when they made Mike Singletary the head coach, but the way he got the team to respond at the end of the 2008 season and how they played for that man, again, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But Jed York saw the dynamic in that locker room. Mm-hmm. And on that particular day when they came back and won, he made Mike Singletary the head coach. And he saw the locker room wins the jubilation. Now, again, he underachieved, but he felt Jed felt the pulse of the locker room. You know what? We got something going good here. Let's continue that. I go back to 2021, and the job Rich Bisaccia did, taking over the stuff that was with John Gruden, got this team to 10 wins, and they fought to the very end against the eventual AFC champions. I said back then, the locker room was playing for that man. That locker room came together and rallied, and Rich Bisaccia got that team to the playoffs. And
You're right.
it just seemed like the locker room, like, you know what? Take the interim tag off. And that's something even I said on this show two seasons ago. They should give him a shot. Let him run his program. You saw what the team did. Now, again, 2021 was 2 years ago. And we're coming to the end of 2023. The Raiders were just in the playoffs 2 years ago. That's not long. 2 years ago, they came off and won 10 games. Mark Davis decides not to bring back Bisaccia. Lets Mike Mayock go. Okay, that's your decision. That's your decision. Okay. Okay, it's one thing to make the Raider fans mad if you bring somebody from the AFC West to your program because you're like, damn it, why?
Bingo.
But to bring in somebody that from an organization that in a sense has cursed your franchise because of one flipping play, that's almost like kissing your sister. That's almost like incest, for lack of a better term. Okay, so you bring in Ziegler. Okay. Ziegler goes and gets his college teammate, his buddy, Josh McDaniels. And I can hear Radiation. Damn it, why? Why? Well, Coach Bisaccia goes off to Green Bay and does the special teams thing under LaFleur's guidance. Now Green Bay sits in a pretty good spot at 2-1, riding out with Jordan Love. And here comes Raider Nation, upset, mad, pissed off again. And now once again, they are calling for Josh McDaniels' head to be fired. This is where we're at. And it sucks because, again, I don't hate the Raiders. They're not my team, but I respect their history. I respect what they've meant to football. Of course, anybody that knows me knows how much I love Al Davis.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yes, Al did some things, but what Al has did for people, what Al has did for women, first female CEO, now they have a team president that's a woman, first Hispanic coach, Latino coach, and Tom Flores, Hall of Famer, first black head coach, Hall of Famer, and Art Shell. So many things Al did for so many people. Yes, I know people have their gripes with Al Davis. Yes, we know about the famous rivalry him and Marcus Allen had, but Al Davis took care of people. And that's one reason why I admire Al the way I admire Al. So that's why I don't dislike the Raiders like a lot of people do. I respect what they've done. But, however, this fan base, you got some. Oh, go ahead. You got an alert? Go ahead.
Josh McDaniels didn't shut down the idea of Aiden O'Connell starting if Jimmy G is unable to play. That makes me feel a little.
Raider Nation might get a little glimmer of hope if the 4th round draft pick from Purdue, Aiden O'Connell, may get the start.
Give him a shot
over Brian Hoyer. That's why not? I mean, like I said, what I saw back on August 13th at Allegiant Stadium against my team, I saw poise. I saw he processed it, and he got the ball out quick. He was very sharp against the 49ers, and he was very good for most of the preseason. I can see why they took a 4th round banner on him because he played very well at Purdue. He did. So I can see why Raider Nation wants him to start. I do. So we will keep you in post with that to see if he actually does get the start. So, with that said, I guess we're gonna. Well, there still are 2 games tonight. We got the Buccaneers and Eagles. That should be a very intriguing matchup. That's at ESPN. The game on ABC is the Bengals and the Rams. Well, we both like the Bengals, even though Joe Burrow's status is up in the air, but we have not heard anything yet
he's
or
starting.
haven't read anything
Starting.
yet as far as that game goes. Something I found out, the Buccaneers take care of the football very, very well. They might want to have to play keep away to limit the Eagles' possessions, but
Yes.
we'll see what happens. So 4 of the season, which right now, if we're adding this up, if we're going to add the win totals up to date right now.
Boy.
So right now that would give you that many wins.
Garoppolo is on
not counting the 2. Well, talk about it's the most wonderful time of the year.
And not to jump off football real quick, going to our male soap opera, The Rock is supposed to be working the Elimination Chamber this year.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, does that mean he wins the chamber and gets the title shot against Roman?
Could. Interesting.
What? Or could that mean that somebody from Monday Night Raw is going to win the Royal Rumble and challenge whomever the champion may be at WrestleMania 40?
Well, rumor is that Cody Rhodes is supposed to win it again. Hey, and didn't I say by week 3 that Garoppolo will be hurt? Didn't I say on one of our shows by week 3 that he might not be hurt?
It might be in the archives somewhere. I'm not gonna lie. It might be in the archives. So as it stands right now, not counting the 2 games tonight, right now Mizzle is up 3.5 games on me because he is 4 up in the loss column. He is 25 and 28. He is 28 and 15. I am 25 and 19.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it won't necessarily be a tiebreaker, but the Buccaneers and Eagles game, because he picked the Eagles, I picked the Bucks, could be the deciding factor. And if I go back to 4 games or 5 or be 5 games out, which could happen, you never know. So we'll definitely pay attention to those 2 games. Now, here's my question: do you want to wait till after tonight's games to do week 4 predictions, or you want to do week 4 predictions now?
When would you want to do the next show? Because we would have to do it if we would have to do it before Thursday.
Yeah, well, we can do it tonight when you get off work and do just preview week 4 and give our picks there and talk about tonight's Monday night games. Okay, so
yeah, we can do that.
Episode 108 will be later on tonight as we preview week 4 of the season. And you know what? If he's watching, we don't know if he is, but Mr. Kawante Foster, if you're watching, if you're not asleep by then, we'd like for you to come on to help us preview what you saw between the Saints and the Buccaneers and the Eagles, and help us preview the Bucs and Saints next week at the Dome, as it's a big, big game in the NFC South. So I'll go reach out to him and talk to him about that if he wants to come on and talk about that particular game. So
sweet.
We will give our week 4 predictions after the Monday night games, or should I say when Mizzle gets home from work. But with that said, enjoy tonight's double dosage of Monday Night Football. Again, Eagles and Buccaneers at 4:15 on ESPN, and the Rams and the Bengals will be on ABC. Let me make sure I get that right, because again, we like to be as factually correct as we possibly can be on the show. So let me. By the way, the Yankees are playing the Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks are up 2-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. That's a makeup game from it being rained out on this past Saturday.
Might turn that on after the show.
Indeed. Okay, so yes, Okay, I got it wrong. Okay. Eagles, Buccaneers, 4:15 on ABC. Bengals, Rams, 5:15 on ESPN. And, of course, the Manning cast on ESPN, too. So you get 1 hour of Buccaneers and Eagles, and then if you got picture-in-picture, utilize it. So you can have one game on one screen and one game on the other. Or, in my case, one game on the TV and one game on the iPad, or maybe one game on the laptop. You never know. But anyhow, episode 107 of the Mizzle An Dub Show in the books. For those that tuned in to watch we were live, we appreciate you. We're now up to 50 subscribers on our Mizzle An Dub YouTube page, which we thank you. We love you for it. And hopefully, during one of these live shows, you will actually leave us a comment, because we want to interact with our fans.
Yes.
Because, like I said, we do this show because of y'all. Truthfully speaking, like I said, me and Mizzle have been talking sports all freaking day for the last 26 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's only fitting that, you just do it on a platform. And now we're doing it under a new platform via a streamer where you can actually watch us live as we're doing this live. So we appreciate that. So, again,
yes, indeed.
Don't be scared and or afraid to, join us, because, like I said,
yes.
we do this for y'all. We really do. So, we enjoy what we do. But also, later on tonight, there is a fight coming up this upcoming Saturday that we will talk about, where somebody might be leaving with a whole bunch of gold belts. Of course, we're talking Jermell Charlo and Saul Canelo Alvarez. We will talk about that on the late night edition of the Mizzle An Dub Show, or we might just do a whole show dedicated to that on Mizzle's weekday off, which is it Thursday or Wednesday this week?
I'm off Thursday this week, but I'm also off Saturday for the fight as well.
Okay.
So we'll discuss it.
Okay. Because So we will definitely have a show talking about Canelo and Charlo as they will battle it out for a whole bunch of gold belts this upcoming Saturday in Las Vegas at T-Mobile Arena. But for now, we will say ta-ta, and we will come back to you later on tonight as we will give you episode 108 to go over the Monday night games that we saw, and, of course, to preview and give our predictions for week 4. So with that said, he is the pissed off, angry Raider fan, and I'm just a Blaxican that can't tan. Send me some help. With that said, we will see you later on tonight, and as always, it is 5 o'clock, some damn where. We'll see you for episode 108 later on tonight.